welcome to FinextraTV. I'm Hannah Wallace, and today we're at Rackspace to speak to one of the solution directors, Tim Bull, about cloud adoption. Hello Tim, thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. So we're going to be talking a bit about some of the challenges around cloud adoption, how this can be overcome, and some of the benefits that can be derived. But first, it'd be great if you could set the scene for us and introduce the state of play around cloud adoption.
Sure. I mean, look, in the last 12 months, certainly the financial services companies that we've worked with have come on a really long way. So it's great to see such a lot of activity, both in brand new digital services and in the kind of traditional tier one platforms. So I think there's a lot more activity this year than last year, and that's presenting a lot of opportunity, but a lot of challenges as well.
Talking of those challenges, could you highlight for us the main ones and sort of the blockers to cloud adoption for financial services?
Yeah, I mean, it's you've got to take care trying to be too pithy in this scenario. I think you know, we're talking about thousands of people and thousands of systems, but probably most of the CTOs and CIOs I've talked to would agree that things are just taking too long in cloud to get from non-production to production. So that kind of build stage is taking a really long time before the production benefits are realised, and I think there's a lot that contributes to that, but there's a lot of costs and time there. Okay,
so how can they be overcome? What can banks and businesses do to tackle these challenges?
Yeah, it's drilling down to the basics, really. I mean, certainly banks can struggle to attract the right kind of talent, those engineers and architects and support people that know cloud really well. So a lot of folks are really ramping up their talent acquisition and training. I think mapping those new systems to maybe the old world approvals like risk and compliance and regulatory can be a challenge. So banks are really going back to the non-functional requirements and sort of improving their governance that makes sense to the rest of the world. And probably looking at the data mobility side of things. So fundamentally, can they move their data? Are they allowed to do it? Will the regulators sign it off? They're needing to be much more smart about how they split their data up so they can move it one regulator at a time.
All right, so those are the challenges, but I'd like to end on more of a positive note and look at some of the benefits. What are the benefits, but also how can they derive the benefits from cloud adoption?
Yeah, so I think the people that are able to move stuff into production are genuinely seeing cost benefits. So either right-sizing infrastructure or just turning stuff off that's not used. I mean, it's an old story, but in production, when it's working well, things are getting cheaper. I think certainly to keep pace with the market, particularly the challenger banks or those companies releasing new digital services, they're now able to move at a much higher pace. So we're talking about hundreds of releases a month versus potentially a few a year, and that's great for the consumers. So that means more market share. And I think probably lastly, there's a degree of sort of old school safety and resiliency to be had by not investing solely in one platform but looking at hybrid platforms. Then there is a case to be made for a more robust and assured service, again safeguarding the consumer experience.
Some exciting developments ahead then.
Really good.
Fantastic. All right, well Tim, thank you for sharing your insights and having us to visit Rackspace. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much.